everybody. We'll continue the sign-in process. We're going to move it towards the back. Just if anybody else filters in and they would like to speak, you can go ahead and log into that. We'll move it to the back here. I want to call to session Tuesday, January 21st, 2025, Board of Education regular meeting. Please bear with me today. It's my first day as president, and I'm going to do my very best to make this as soon as possible. Mrs. Knapp, can you call roll, please?
Mr. Avila?
Here.
Mr. Bernstein?
Here.
Mrs. Lasky?
Here.
Mrs. Sears?
Here.
Mrs. Hill?
Here. If we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, this meeting is the meeting of the Board of Education in public for purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. We're going to move into administrative reports.
Yes, I saw Mrs. O'Neill here. She's in the back. We're gonna bring you the mic. We're gonna put one of ours on there.
Good evening, everyone. Start of a new year. Hope you started your new year well. And I have to tell you that things at CVCC are going great. And I'm anxious to tell you about a little bit of what happened in December because I didn't see you then. So on the 14th, we were really proud of the students. They went to Rittman National Cemetery and they participated in Wreaths Across America. So they laid wreaths on the tombs there, and that was a voluntary thing. And I just think it's a wonderful thing that they encourage students to do that. Sometimes we don't think that CVCC might do those kinds of really special things, but they do. There's so many things they do there and they do it really well. Another thing, on the 18th and the 19th of December, the Culinary Arts Program really showed off their emerging chefs because they had a very large holiday buffet, and they served 165 guests, which is, again, a very excellent hands-on experience for these kids to know how it's going to be in the real world. So I was really impressed with that. Also on the 19th, even though the nursing open house occurred, which I think is great for the health services kids to be able to go there and see if they choose to go into the nursing field, the nursing world. And that same day on the 19th, the nurses had their candle ceremony, which is marking the halfway point of finishing their program as nurses. So again, excellent role models for those kids to see where they can go and what adults in the world are trying to do to move and advance themselves. So really good examples. And then we can't leave out our Independence Primary School because they had a culinary immersion project going on, and I'm sure you know. They featured 16 junior chefs in the 4th grade, and I'll talk a minute about that at the end when I'm wrapping this up, but that is a career tech project, and more the state is pushing for bringing that kind of stuff down to the lower grades. And so Amanda Jaranowski, she was spearheaded that, and then she worked with the staff there from the cafeteria to help and prep those kids. So it was a really successful program, and I was really happy to see that she was able to do that. In January now, the students are doing their 10th grade exploration, where they're going up there to see all 8 school districts are sending their students at various times to learn about the 24 programs that CVCC offers. And I don't really think we realize that they have 24 programs, and I shared that with you last time, the different programs that they have. And that is kind of in preparation, even though some probably will go after. On the 16th, they had the student parent information night. And again, that coincides with the students' visits. Hopefully the students were able to participate, go and see what they liked, and then bring their parents back on the 16th to show them what they might be interested in. Parents, teachers had an opportunity to interact with each other and discuss and share some of the things about their programs. February 4th through the 6th, I'm very supportive of this, the Career Tech Education Legislative Seminar is happening in Columbus. And every year they take students down there to interface with our state legislators, to advance career tech, to talk about career tech, to share the programs they're in so the legislators can see how the kids are doing in it, how they like it, and hopefully to continue to support career tech in the state of Ohio. So that's happening February 4th through the 6th, and I think that's a terrific opportunity. Josh Hayes, the principal at CVCC, he applied for and received the DeWalt Grow the Trades grant. I think it was $10,000. And what, in fact, it's all about is that any student in the construction trade programs will receive a $500 toolkit, basically, that is, I mean, when they showed us the kit, it's not a kit. It's a bag full of very expensive tools and equipment that would be germane to their work when they go out into the real world. So it's a form of a scholarship, and it's done through their scholarship program. But I sent him a thank you note because I thought that was above and beyond what he needed to do. And that was money coming in there that those kids wouldn't have got. And they're getting state-of-the-art equipment. So I thought that was, really outstanding. So good for him and good for the school. And then last week we approved the creation of 8 full-time career specialists. Now you have part-time career specialists now, and Amanda is your specialist. But I don't know if they're going to, I think they're going to post these as full-time jobs, and she can either apply for it or others will be able to apply for it too. But these will all be given one to each district, and they'll work on a full-time basis with the idea that they will then expand in the K-8 environment, as well as the K-6, moving it down. The concept in the state of Ohio now is to continue to give kids awareness of career tech further and further down into the younger grades. So that is why it's going to be a full-time position versus a part-time position. I'm not used to what happened? She became the president now. I need somebody to pass these out. Okay, I'm going to let you do that, son. It's a new job for you. Sorry. That's my final handout, or my only handout today, and that is, it talks about, again, Career Technical Week, which is coming up February 3rd through the 7th, and they just do really cute things for the students there to hype it up, and you'll see on Monday, February 3rd, they have 100% club recognition. They have T-shirts the kids have. On Tuesday, it's the Bring Your Parent to School Day, which I can't imagine the kids want to bring their parents to school, but maybe they do, I don't know. On Wednesday, it's the 10th grade visits from various schools, and then on Friday, it's Team Spirit Day. So I always love when schools do that for the kids. I think it's fun for them. It makes school a nice place to be. And then the final thing I want to share with you is I always like to share a student connection, and this month it's Victor Walchanowicz, and he is doing an excellent job there in the construction trades program, and he talks, one of the quotes that's in the article, when you have a chance to look at it, it says, if you're a student in construction trades, you're going to be a leader, it's inevitable. And that kind of positive spirit, I mean, he's 16 or 17, he's just a young man. But to have that kind of attitude and spirit about what he thinks he might want to do for the rest of his life is, I think, commendable. He does plan to attend college, which I think is important to point out. You hear me talk about that all the time. When you go to career tech school, it doesn't mean that that's where you end. You can wind up doing all kinds of things, moving on to college and getting a 4-year degree if you so choose. So Victor's featured this month, and we were proud to have him there. It shows that he's got direction, and it shows that he's a good role model and example for our students. So I thank you. That's a quick summary, and I see you're busy tonight. You've got a lot to do, so I'm glad I was able to make it tight.
Can I just, 2 things, and I wanted to share with the board as well. Dave, the superintendent, Magnus, and I are going to be meeting in February. Districts across the state, we're not only having problems finding bus drivers, but the other issue, and Mr. Mr. Driley and I have had this conversation, is bus mechanics.
Mhm.
So many of our bus mechanics are usually a second career.
Mhm.
They are older in their age, they're getting close to retirement, and we don't necessarily have a pipeline of students. And it's a good job, it's great
Mhm.
benefits, it's great work. So we, in talking with, Mr. Mangus, CVCC has an automotive program, but we've talked about what would be our options for also having a diesel mechanic program. And then we could actually pipeline students
Oh.
directly from there to start to do an apprenticeship with our mechanic and eventually build that person into then taking over for that position. And so when we had that conversation, obviously there's 8 other school districts, 7 other besides us. So a lot of the superintendents were interested in that, so that it's that partnership of, to your point, we can't forget about the options for our careers. There's a lot of really great careers out
Right.
there.
Right.
And to really think about how we can mutually benefit each other for that. And also in regards to Amanda and that position going full-time, that's a huge win for our district. Because they're only here part-time, their time is not necessarily spent in all of the buildings
Yeah.
equally. And I feel strongly that, we do a really great job at the high school with, college readiness. Our kids are taking the SAT, the ACT, we're helping them with all of that, preparing, filling out the Common App, doing all that. But I also think we need to focus on what are the careers out there, college or not. You don't want to spend 4 years trying to figure out what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I say that because it's an expensive, it's an expensive trial and error, right?
Right.
So the more that we can provide students with what are the career options out there, because there are so many that I don't even know, and our students have no idea
Right.
of what's out there. And the pathway to get to that career can sometimes be being in that career while they're paying for your college.
Mhm.
Cleveland Clinic today will do that, right?
Yeah.
You go and
Right.
start with them, and they're paying for you to go and become a nurse, and you don't have any student loans, so.
Well, I've been impressed very much with CVCC's willingness to partner with communities. They are partnering now with Brook Park in the firefighters, and they're willing to take a partnership on with anybody. So that's just excellent to hear. And if we could be at the forefront of that, if we can be showing that interest in getting that ball rolling, well, I will certainly do what I can to help continue to promote that and talk to the other board members about that as well. Yeah, I appreciate it.
And if I could,
Yeah.
because I'm going to forget, can you just pass on to your administrative team? Mike Reinhardt, that you have worked in there with the sales and service and transitional work, which my son's a part of, is just a treasure. He went out of his way today to help facilitate a meeting with my wife for my graduating senior, to help him with work experiences, and just really was proactive and took the initiative. And it's a new startup company, and that helps adults now, like my son, transition to the real world workplace. And he didn't have to do it, and he did it for another independent student. And just if you could just pass that out.
I sure
I just
will.
was like, and then constant communication, and obviously he works with my wife on a professional level at Brex, since she's at Brexville, and so she knows him, but he's just if you could please just
Above and beyond.
way above and beyond. So,
Okay.
and just how he helped, and it's going to be ongoing too. So we're going to be having a series of meetings, and he didn't have to do it.
Well, I appreciate you recognizing that. Thank you so much.
And so Neil, before you scoot out, because I know you may not be here during my piece, it is School Board Recognition Month.
Oh, yeah.
So just a little something for you, along with some cards.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, thank you for all that you did
Nice.
for our students.
Okay, have a good meeting.
Thank you. Take care.
Oh, well, hey. Can you come next time too?
Here's what you should talk about.
Next up, our treasurer, Ms. Knapp.
Absolutely. Just a couple updates for you that were in my updates, but for everyone here in the audience tonight. This year, we're doing roll call, just so you're aware, by alphabetical and then ending with President Hill. So nothing's changed weird, but if you notice, I'm calling it in a different fashion. We're going alphabetical and then to Mrs. Hill as the president. Then secondly, we got our Science of Reading stipend, which is exciting. That's our reimbursement to the stipends we gave to staff. Staff have been working with Mrs. Kogan to get more Science of Reading information and curriculum down to help through the students. And it's an initiative by the state, but it's actually a funded mandate, which is probably the most exciting news of the night because we typically get unfunded mandates. So that was an exciting reimbursement that we got to see this past month. And then our tax advance, just for anyone who's following my exciting tax advances and 5-year forecast and financials, is that our tax advance of January was very, very low, and it was very low throughout the county of all districts. We only got 60%, and we typically get 90% of collections. But the issue at heart is that the tax bills went out very, very late and are still, I believe, going out at this time. So there hasn't been a chance for any early people who want to pay early payees. So the advance pot of money to distribute to schools was much less than it normally is in January. So they had to go with 60%, and they had to reduce it. We will get the money. It's just a matter of once taxpayers get their bills and pay and such. So, but that was a shock to I think all of us in school districts because we didn't realize that was happening. So that was something that was not on our radar that came through. And then lastly, a quick shining moment here, Dr. Sloversky's estate. He was an Independence grad who was a physician, and he donated a nice donation to our district for the arts. So Ms. Superintendent Kogan and Mr. Janitovich are working with the arts department to work on some programming enhancements that will be funded by that gracious donation. So that's an exciting thing for our district, and you'll be seeing those happen throughout this spring. So. And that is my update because I get to go again.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dryling?
Yeah, I have a couple of things. I know each of you had heard our wrestling mats were delivered. It's an exciting time. There are a lot of mats there. Our wrestling coaches did a great job of kind of sorting through, and I imagine it was like Christmas for them, opening up presents. And so we were actually able to get the varsity room mats completely installed. Ran into a few bumps with that process, but we worked our way through it, and so they're up and running. Our middle school mats will be installed at a later date. Having the availability of staffing is really the main thing, and so their season's coming to an end soon, so we'll have a little bit more flexibility in how we can install those. But they're well aware of that. Last time you had asked for a bleacher update, and I actually have one now because this week I touched base with the company, and we are waiting on the snow to clear, but we will have a final inspection. And since the time we had our last football game and now, I've had another company go out who does bleacher inspections for us anyways. They have for longer than I've been here. The report, I asked for it to be expedited and I got it last week. So it took them a while, but they actually found that they're completely intact and safe. The things they found were minor, and they were all of the things we actually identified when myself and the project manager walked through. So the company who installed the installer was back several weeks after the last football game and did address all the things we identified supposedly. That's what the final walkthrough is for. And so when we go through, we'll take a look and make sure that they did everything they said they were going to do, and then they will get the rest of their money. So.
Did they say anything about the stains? Like how long it's going to take to clear, if that's really going to happen?
They don't have any way to predict, but some of the stains have already started. Even up until that last game, they weren't as extreme. Anything that was really large, we just replaced the boards altogether. There's also no guarantee that those stains won't come back just because of the way the metal is. It's not a coated metal, and so it's something that, it's a process that they do with how they're milling them. But hopefully we'll know when the snow clears how much they're. I wanted to get, Mrs. Kogan talked about the bus driver update, but I wanted to share some information with you today about that. We've continued to look for bus drivers. We haven't stopped, but we did recently enlist the help of a recruiting service, someone from Independence. And as of today, literally had one applicant sent to me, and Francine and I are going to go ahead and look through the file, and they already have a CDL, but it's just not that simple. Actually, it's not as simple just to have a CDL. There's a passenger endorsement. There's training that has to be done. Our schools, they go through a lot of training. It's not that you can just get that and jump on the bus and go. Fortunately, we train our drivers, and we do pay for our drivers to be trained. It includes the cost of classes and the time that they spend during their training sessions. We've talked about this in the past, but it continues to be a problem not only for Independence, but for many districts in the state of Ohio. I just want to let you know that we're continuing to exhaust a variety of options, and really just wanted to give you an update, because the last time I really spoke about it was in September-ish. But just because we haven't talked about it doesn't mean we aren't doing things. I mean, we've had several people walk through the doors, we've interviewed them, they hear what's on the table, what's required, and some say, I don't think this is a good fit for me. And others, you know, we've had someone who started the process and then it just was more than they had anticipated, and so then they did not continue with it. So we get a variety of results, but we are, like I said, we're continuing to try. And the last thing that I want to talk about, I'd like to give a shout out to our maintenance and custodial staff. Over the past several months, they've gone above and beyond covering shifts, anything from absences. You know, it's not common knowledge that having a substitute list for teachers, I mean, everybody knows that happens. But having a substitute list for a custodian or a cleaner or a maintenance person, it's just not that common. We're fortunate to have a veteran substitute who's been a sub for us for over 40 years. And we've been very thankful for him. Well, he would like some time on his own and to do that. So our maintenance crew and our custodians have really stepped up to cover when someone's sick or they're out by working extra hours. On top of that, we host a ton of events. We're a small school. We don't host events like we're a small school. We host events like we're a large school. And they step up and they put in the hours, and you know, a lot of people think, well, they get paid overtime. They also have families, they have lives, and you know, 60 to 80 hours grows old quick. And so I want to thank them, because they really step up, and I think they just really realize their importance. And sometimes it can get lost. You just think these things happen. Like, you think the building's clean, you think that the walkways are clear and the walkways are safe and the roads are clear. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens oftentimes when we're sleeping or when we're not here on site. But they do a great job, and they've really been stressed in time the past, most specifically the last 2 months. So I just want to give them a shout out and say thank you, and make you aware of it. And that's it.
Going back to the bleachers, how much is that last payment that we are still?
285.
285.
Okay.
I didn't
Give or take.
I didn't give anything
Depending when
else.
the final invoice comes in.
To Tom, just so that you know, on Friday was the legislative breakfast where they invited Cuyahoga County superintendents and Lorraine, and there was probably 25 superintendents there, and there was, all representatives were invited. 5 of them showed up out of all of them, but one of the topics was transportation, and one of the requests from us was, as they're thinking about transportation, it hasn't been looked at for a long time on those requirements to become a bus driver. And so a long time ago, the bus driver was also the mechanic. Like, if the bus broke down, they were like getting out and fixing the bus and trying to figure out what's wrong with the bus. So a lot of the assessment and the piece that they have to do is above and beyond what we would even ask a bus driver to do.
The 130-point inspection.
Yes, the 130 point, you can't miss anything. So
Yes.
one of our requests was, we want our bus drivers to be trained, right, on how to drive the bus and provide safety for our students. But at the same time, can we look at it so it's not so difficult for someone to get the endorsements that they need and the CDL? So they thought that was something that they could do, so we'll hope that they take that back to the other legislators.
That, and the passenger capacity would be
Yes.
nice if that were increased, maybe to 13.
Right,
Just saying that
13%.
on record.
Yes. All right, thanks, Mr. Dryling.
Thank you.
Yes, so I'm up, I'm gonna make it really quick. Mr. Dryling's gonna cue up a video for me over there on the TV. But it is School Board Appreciation Month. Someone asked me why you guys got a whole entire month. And I said, I don't know why you get a whole entire month, but you do get a whole entire month. So you have a little gift in front of you from Mr. Dryling and Ms. Knapp and I, and then inside your envelope are hilarious cards written by our primary school students, thanking you for being a board member. And so that's awesome. And I just wanted to read this proclamation really quick that will be attached to our minutes. And then as soon as I'm done, Tom's just gonna, it's a really quick video. It's very cute. So whereas our community values a quality education is a vital step along the pathway to success for our children, and whereas Ms. Hill, Ms. Sears, Mr. Avila, Mr. Bernstein, and Ms. Lasky contribute greatly to this community through their service on the Independence Local School Board of Education. And whereas these local decision makers set the policies and procedures to govern all aspects of the school district operations, and whereas the school board keeps attention focused on progress toward the school district's goal and maintains a two-way communication loop with all segments of the community, and whereas these school board members are serving our community with integrity, honor, and a commitment to our children's futures. Now therefore, I, as the superintendent of the Independence Local School District, do hereby declare my appreciation to the members of the Independence School Board and proclaim the month of January 2025 as School Board Recognition Month in Independence. I urge all citizens to join me in recognizing the dedication and hard work of local school board members and in working with them to mold an educational system that meets the needs of both today's and tomorrow's children. In official recognition, I hereby affix my signature on this 21st day of January. So I know that you all know what your job is, but the question is, does anybody else know what your job is? Hit it.
Welcome to a special edition of IPS Live. This segment is dedicated to our very special board members. Did you know that January is School Board Recognition Month? No, I had no idea. Do you know what a board member does? Well, let's see if anyone here at IPS knows. My name is Megan, and I'm a junior reporter. Do you know what a board member is? No, I do not. Can you take a guess? They play at recess. I think a board member is a person who works at the school and uses a printer. I guess they're kind of like a judge. Hi, my name is Vivian. Do you know what a board member does? No. Can you take a guess? They work with Ariana Grande. I'm Megan, and I'm a junior reporter. Do you know what a board member is? No. Can you take a guess? They'll... artist? Do you know what a board member is? No. You want to take a guess? Illustrator. Those are some great answers, weren't they? We appreciate our board members for the dedication to our education. They help shape our futures in very different ways. They devote many hours setting policies and planning for our schools. They serve on school board because they care about providing quality education in our community. We would like to personally thank Mr. Avila, Mrs. Sears, Mr. Bernstein, Mrs. Hill, and Mrs. Lasky. We would also like to give a special thank you to our superintendent, Mrs. Kogan, and our assistant superintendent, Mr. Dreiling, who work closely with our board members. Thank you all for your hard work and dedication to making Independence Local Schools a place where students can thrive and become the best versions of themselves. We hope you're enjoying your special month. You truly deserve it.
That was precious.
You'll all get a copy of that.
Yes, thank you. We're going to move on to the public participation portion. It is the policy of the Independence Board of Education to hear public comment at board meetings. The public is invited to speak to any of the agenda items and other school topics at this time. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes. I have the Google form here, so I'm just going to call the names, and then if you just want to come up to the podium, Mrs. Sears will do the 3-minute timer, so she'll let you know if you go beyond your time. So first up is Robert Schultz.
Could we have Sam go first, please? Would you mind?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Sam Crooks, and I'm a senior here at Independence High School. I want to let you know, some of you may know, that a Trinity coach harassed me online and in person. After letting the administration know about the online harassment, and after personally letting the administration know about the personal interactions I had with this coach on the night of the game, nothing was done. That night of Friday, January 10th, my father was the only man to protect me and defend me when no one else would. I couldn't ask for a better father in that moment. Now it is heartbreaking to know that my father will never watch another minute of me playing basketball again, after having coached me my whole life. Excuse me. And along with this, my father, who has coached me in baseball, my friends, and my own brother, is now in jeopardy to coach me and all of us in our final year, when our vision has been planned that this would be the greatest year in Independence baseball. My father has brought together a group of kids over the years we call our family. To see him not in charge of this family this year is impossible to imagine for me and for the rest of my team. I want to thank those who came out tonight in support of him. Please consider what I've said here when making your final decision. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Sam. This is Jessica Crooks.
Good evening. My name is Jessie Sigfirth, and Sam Crooks is my nephew. Cyberbullying. Unwanted behavior that takes place over digital devices and platforms that serve to defame, spread rumors, and humiliate. Sam Crooks was cyberbullied the week of January 10th, 2025, not by a player, but by a coach on Trinity High School's basketball team. A coach. The video showed Sam falling on his stomach while playing defense in a repeated motion, rewound and played 3 times, to the theme song from the Looney Tunes. A coach. If that was not enough, this same coach was allowed to freely walk into our high school on Friday, January 10th, and gain access to Sam in his own locker room, alone, while preparing for his game. How does that happen? How does it happen? If Brett Deal, the athletic director, knew of the cyberbullying and targeting of Sam on that night, if Brett Deal did his homework on the history of this school with Independence, how does that happen? As a student athlete, a child. I'll tell you how. Brett Deal did not do his job that night. He did not communicate the urgency of this matter to the district or the police on duty that night. Your inaction resulted in a father having to protect his son immediately when he received a text from Sam that Harold Rasul, assistant coach for Trinity basketball, had just entered the locker room with Sam in it alone, stalked, waited to enter once his team had left. How does this happen? Our students, my nephew. How dare you use Jim Crooks as a scapegoat for your inaction and complete lack of protection? He did what any father or mother would do on that night and in that moment. You don't deserve James and Jess Crooks in this district. You really don't. You really don't. The treatment of them and lack of support during this time has been utterly despicable and embarrassing. You have made this week a challenge for the Crooks family, but you won't steal their peace and their joy. You won't. Believe me on that. We as a family know how to rise above, and we know how to take the high road in these moments. As I close, I have 3 questions. How do you plan to own and admit your despicable inaction and documented mistakes about the protection of Sam Crooks, my nephew, on the week of January 10th? Secondly, what is documented and planned when Sam Crooks goes to Trinity on Tuesday, February 18th? How will you make up for your inaction on February 18th? A neutral site like Cuyahoga Heights? Extra police? Have you even thought about it? Last question, how could you abandon the Crooks family like this? They have done nothing but pour into this school for years. They have shaped and molded the lives of so many students. They have kept families in independence. They have. When people have said, no thanks, this administration is far too weak for my family. The Crookses said, no way, Indy is good, please stay. They did that. They had your back when they didn't have to, and you've abandoned them. You've absolutely abandoned them in their, can you please, I'm talking. Shame on everybody for your inaction to protect my nephew.
I'm Rachel Peluso. I am also Sam's aunt. Jim is my brother. I'm a graduate of the school as well. I just needed to talk on their behalf as well. This is, in my opinion, Jim did absolutely nothing wrong. He protected his son. What the bigger deal here that Justy has said is that nobody in the school did anything to protect Sam prior to this happening. Everybody knew, all the people knew what was happening with the video online and everything. In my opinion, you have failed my nephew. The fact that he has to sit up here and try to defend himself and ask for protection is absolutely insane. He is a student. That coach should not have been allowed to be in this building. Everybody knows that we have a tumultuous relationship with Trinity. Does the athletic director or our superintendent know that Trinity stole money out of all of our student athletes' bags at a basketball game? Do they know what's going on? More attention should have been given to this. There's no reason that Sam should have been targeted one-on-one in that locker room that night. No reason. And for him my brother to get a text from him in the stands and watch nobody do anything to protect his son, and he's getting blamed and kicked out and possibly lose his job as a coach over this, it shouldn't even be on the table. What should be on the table is the protection of these student athletes. They are supposed to feel safe. And because we did nothing, you did nothing, I'm sorry, not me, because the school district did nothing to protect him and to take care of this situation. That coach is out there coaching their teams with other schools. January 14th, January 17th, he's out there coaching at other schools. And those kids are potentially being harassed just like Sam was. And that is because nobody did anything. That coach should not be on that team coaching any longer. That man is a predator. He is picking on athletes. I don't care if Sam is 7 feet tall and 18 and a senior. Should not have happened. It is a disgrace that you are taking this action on his dad, my brother Jim. You have let the students down. You have let the parents who have been pouring in to show their support down. And then you wonder why you have so many kids leaving the school district. Because you are supporting the wrong people. I have one son that has left the district already. I have a 7th grader coming up, and he has the choice to go wherever he wants. But if this isn't made right, you can count on one less student coming to the Independence High School. These baseball players and athletes that are here today, he has coached since they have been 5, 6 years old. He has shaped their lives. He has helped these parents. And he deserves to be in the gym watching his son. He deserves to be coaching the senior year of these kids.
Thank you so much for bringing this up.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm gonna go in order of who I have. Robert Schultz.
Members of the board, my name is Rob Schutte. I can assure you that Jim Crooks is the reason that my son is a student at Independence High School. Ever since our relationship with Jim began, he's done nothing but foster an environment of respect, not just for himself, but mutual respect between he and all the boys. It's because of that respect that I've seen grow over the years that I have absolutely no doubt in my mind. Take his relationship with Sam out of it. If that were my son, Jim would have done the exact same thing. And I'm actually feeling a little emotional, and I'm not that kind of guy. Not only do I feel as though Jim did the right thing, I feel like he had an obligation to do what he did. And if somebody wants to tell me a law that was broken, I'm glad to hear it. When we're discussing a man's future who's done nothing but be loyal to the district and doesn't ask for anything in return, I think this is just ridiculous. We've got to do right by our people the same way that Jim has done right by us for I don't even know how many years now. Thank you.
Bill Sabania?
My name is Bill Sabania. I met Jim for the first time back in 2010 after moving into the city with my family. Anthony, now 16, who's on the baseball team, and then his younger brother, Carmen. Since then, I've known Jim as a tireless leader in the community, with the highest character serving both the city of Independence in his many capacities, and also giving back to the Independence school system as as the example here as the varsity baseball coach. My son, Anthony, had the opportunity to play coach pitch baseball years ago for Jim's Independence recreation team, back when he was just in primary school. I enjoyed watching Jim coach baseball, and his love for Independence came through every interaction. I also appreciated the opportunity Anthony had playing for Jim at such a young age because he was surrounded by such a great role model who helped reinforce the leadership I strive to reinforce in my boys. Fast forward 15 years later, and that consistency and character in Jim's leadership track record has only strengthened his reputation in the community. He still coaches Anthony, and now it's at the high school varsity baseball level. And Jim does it with the same consistency and character and leadership I witnessed when I first met him. Jim's longstanding community involvement and service should speak for itself. I'm here to support Jim Crooks. Thank you.
Dominic Narduzzi?
Good evening. My name is Dominic Narduzzi. I'm a senior at Independence, and I play football and baseball. And this year, I'll be going on what I believe is my 11th year playing under Coach Crooks. And me and Coach Crooks have a deep bond, a deep relationship. He brought up at the day I signed my letter to play baseball at the next level that we've connected on over 22,000 pitches over that time. And if you guys truly believe that that coach didn't know what he was doing by walking into our locker room, it's unbelievable. He's been a coach there, so he knew exactly what he was doing. And I believe that if you take it back to 7th and 8th grade basketball, when I played, Coach Crooks always taught us to defend your teammate and always have his back. And he taught us that when you fell on the ground, you wait for your teammate to come over and pick you up. And I believe that night Coach Crooks did exactly that, and he defended his own kid because our AD couldn't do anything about it. There's always been a heated rivalry between Trinity. I've lived through it in football, and Coach Crooks just was defending his kid because no one else was there to do it. I believe Coach Crooks would have done that for anybody who he knew. He would have their back in that moment, but it's his kid, so he had to step up and be a man, which he always has been. And I just think it would be a disgrace to take him away from this school, being a coach. Me and Sam have been playing together for so long, and this is the season that we've been dreaming of, our senior year. And I truly think it would just be a disgrace to take Coach Crooks away in our last year. Thank you.
Joe Subak?
Good evening. My name is Joe Suvak. I've had the opportunity and been blessed to coach here at the high school for the baseball team for over 20 years. During that time, I coached side by side with Jim Crooks, and without a doubt, the thing that struck me the most is the love for his family, the passion for the sport, and his desire to make these young men not just better baseball players, but better young men. And over the years since I've stepped away, I've seen how much he's done with this program, how much he's improved the field, and all the good things he's done for the people that are here. And the fact that there are so many here should prove everything you need to know. And I really hope that as you make your decision, you do the right thing. Thank you very much.
Jordan, Mel.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jordan Maloney. For those of you that don't know me, I was class of 2019. I had the privilege of playing for Coach Crooks for 1 year, and I'm now volunteering for those guys over there, the great baseball team. You heard a lot about what he's done for the program, what he's done for the district. I'd like to talk about the man that you're potentially talking about, potentially removing from this district. I had the pleasure of meeting him halfway through my senior year. Coach X had cancer, and he was not able to coach that season. Coach Crooks came in, stepped in, filled those shoes, was a great guy, great mentor, helped me along the way, especially because me and Coach X had a close relationship before that. It's hard to kind of build a relationship going into college, looking to be recruited and continue my athletic career after that. And he jumped in, he filled that void, he became the head coach you could always hope for. And then I went on to college. We stayed in touch. We talked quite often, to be quite honest, asked how I was doing. I'd ask how he was doing. As Coach X progressed and it got worse, he informed me that I was no longer to get in contact with him. And that really sucked for me, not having that closure. And he helped me along with that, kind of helping me move past that. Didn't really want to play anymore. That's the kind of guy he is. That's the kind of person you're talking about removing from this program, from this district. It's not about players. You can have a great coach. You can have a great program. But these guys, they're kids now. You're supposed to walk out of here and become adults. You don't get a whole lot of that when you go to college. You just kind of figure it out, trial and error. He's a guy that's telling you, show up early, be there on time. If you're not there on time, be early. Crazy part, told me my senior year, 7 years ago now, always come to an event expecting to publicly speak. Crazy part, I have nothing. My bad on that part, but he's teaching life lessons to these kids, things that you can never grasp on a baseball field, things that maybe you can explain on a baseball field that these guys won't get now, but they're going to think 10 years down the line and say, oh, I never thought about how maybe doing a relay to home plate was super important, because if I don't make the first throw good, the second guy can't make his throw to home, and that's going to get that out. You can't do that without teamwork. That's things that you can't just teach on a diamond. It's things that go on for a lifetime. I've talked to him constantly throughout my entire career in college. Continued, obviously. I'm here now. I'm coaching these guys. I couldn't think of a better mentor, a better person. I just think that it's a big loss and a big mistake if you're thinking of potentially removing this man in the positions he's in, because it's going to be to the detriment to them, not him. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Tom Narduzzi. Jim Crooks for 21 years. Carrie, thanks for the call back last night. Kelly, thanks for our conversation today. So I don't want to stand here and blow smoke about Jim Crooks. Everybody knows what a great guy he is. He's been the top of the top in the baseball world as my son was 5 years old, I think, when he started playing for him. What I am here to say is that there was wrong done on both parts, as I've seen it. I talked to both sides today. I talked to Kelly for quite a long time. I see two things were wrong. The Crooks has one story, Kelly has another story. At some point, these two things will work themselves out. And I don't want animosity towards the school board. I don't want animosity towards the Crooks family, although right now I know you're hurting. I think when everybody sees the whole story, we will figure it out. Jim will be restated. He'll be able to watch his son play baseball or basketball, and he'll be the coach of Independence High School baseball. But I know the school board had to take an action because there was wrongdoing. Believe it or not, whatever the situation was, in my mind, Jim should have never been on that court. But if it was my son, I guarantee you I would have been on that court also. So we just got to figure it out now, put our differences together, and move on. And I believe, God's telling me, I believe that it'll all work out. Thank you. I hope you make the right decision.
Good evening, members of the board, administration, and everyone in attendance. My name is Michael Suey. I'm a proud Independence resident and father of 2 Independence alumni and 1 current high school student. Tonight I stand here not just to speak about Coach Crooks, but also about his family. The family has been an integral part of this community for generations. My family has known the Crooks family for years. They've been a cornerstone of this community. Their kindness, integrity, and willingness to help others has left an indelible mark on lives, including my own. In 2017, we tragically lost our oldest daughter, Allison. We were in Columbus while our son, Ryan, remained here in Independence. That devastating moment, the first family we called to care for Ryan and support us was the Crooks family. Without hesitation, they stepped up and showed us the compassion they have showed so many in this community. I have personally coached alongside Coach Crooks and worked closely with this family for over a decade. Their unwavering commitment to this community and its youth is undeniable. However, I must address the troubling reason we are here tonight. Last week, Sam Crooks, a student and a member of this community, was cyberbullied, physically stalked, and harassed by an assistant coach from Trinity. That same individual had entered the back entrance of our locker room and confronted Sam while he was alone, wearing headphones, completely unaware of the threat. It's a blatant violation of Sam's safety and well-being. What is even more concerning is that the district officials were made aware of this situation but failed to act. No steps were taken to protect Sam or ensure the safety of all students. As parents, I know many of you would do anything to protect your children. It is unfathomable to me that the focus of this serious situation was shifted away from holding the responsible individuals accountable. Instead, Coach Crooks, a man who has given so much to this community, is being placed on leave and threatened with termination. The real issue here is the failure of the board and administration to prioritize the safety and well-being of students. When the Crooks family brought this matter to the school's attention, immediate action and protocol should have been implemented. Protecting Sam and all students should have been the top priority. I urge this board to refocus its efforts where they belong, on accountability, transparency, and the safety of our children. The actions taken against Coach Crooks are unwarranted and unjust. The community deserves better, and so do the families who place their trust in this district every day. Thank you.
That was all the public participation I had on here, and I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, for speaking. We all value everything that you say, we hear what you say, and I just want, on behalf of the board, to just say thank you for coming, and taking the time to share that. Is there anything you'd like to add? Okay. Very good, thank you. We're going to move on to our consent agenda for the December meeting minutes. We could,
That's one of our first items on the agenda.
that's one of the first things.
Thank you. The first thing is just the treasurer's report as presented and amended. The financials for December are very, very routine, nothing unique or different about that. And our calendar year-end process is done. I'm happy to say that's a lot of work on Barb and Kim and myself to do the calendar year-end process. We issued 311 W-2s in case you get asked on Jeopardy. And we did, I want to say 42 1099s. So that was a lot of work to balance and make sure everything went out appropriately. But we are closed for our calendar and moving on, which is exciting because our first pay was January 3rd, and I don't think staff wanted to wait for us to be paid. So we kept moving through that. And then we have a couple permanent appropriations and certificate of resources that I'm asking you to approve. And as you noted, or as you saw, the one is for the donation of Dr. Slubersky, and I pray I'm saying that correct, this date, so that we can go forward doing that.
I'm going to ask an amount for that.
It was 10,000, yes, I'm sure. We're going to formally accept it as a donation, but it's $10,000.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's so
very,
nice.
very generous. A couple salary appropriation shifts and general fund appropriation shifts. And then we had reallocations of federal grants, so you'll see that on both the appropriation or budget side and certificate of resources, which is the revenue side. Then our next one is the drum roll for the acceptance of Dr. Slubersky's donation of $10,000. So we're hoping to do improvements on the lighting, fixtures, and programming for that, and we also have a donation from Playhouse Square, which is also $10,000 of value, and that's dispersed between the middle and high school auditoriums. So we have two donations for tonight, and I see that only one was listed, but Dr. Slubersky's formal acceptance of that, and then the Playhouse Square donation, and that was brokered by, I'm going to mispronounce his name, Dave, or who's our lady?
Cynic.
Thank you. Dave Cynic is the person who helped us get that Playhouse Square donation, which is a really wonderful thing for our arts and drama. Then the last one is a one then and now. I thought for sure I had none. I was so excited. But there is one for athletics that I'm asking your approval for that will pay that and get that done. So hopefully we are done with them all. And that is all I have. And then we'll go on to superintendent.
Recommendations.
Go ahead.
Hi. Question, like I probably left them on a table somewhere. So I want to introduce Heidi Rhodes. Hi, Heidi. Or getting hired tonight, and she got to see. Right. Welcome. So Heidi is here tonight. She is being approved by you based upon my recommendation to replace Bonnie, who is retiring, and so Heidi will be our EMIS data coordinator. I had Heidi's 4-page resume and all of the amazing things that she has done, and I'm going to wing it because I can't find it. So Heidi currently, so this is an interesting, I'll give you a schooling in how kind of this EMIS position works with districts. Every district has somebody who does EMIS reporting. EMIS reporting is just all the data that goes into state databases that allows us to get our federal funding, to get our state funding, to get our grant funding. Like, it's really, really important. And your EMIS coordinator is integral in all of those things. So every district has one. And then all of the districts, then we belong to an ITC, right, or an informational technology center, and ours is Connect. So when an EMIS person has a problem, they call Connect. Or if they don't know what they're supposed to be doing, they call Connect. And Connect is like, you know, the wizard, right? It's like the Oz. You call, they do something, and then they help you fix it. So the positive is Heidi's coming from Connect. So her job has been for many years. Prior to that, she was in Brooklyn as an EMIS coordinator, and then went to work for Connect. And so her job has been supporting districts, many districts throughout the state, in their EMIS work. So when you need, when Bonnie has a question about progress books, she calls over to Connect and she talks to Heidi. So the nice thing is that Bonnie had built up a relationship with Heidi just through interacting with her through Connect, and knowing that she could call her and she could help her out with any of the issues she was having, get advice on how to do certain things when we had new programs. So when Bonnie decided to retire, I started to cry. And then I said, okay, I don't know that we're gonna be able to find an EMIS coordinator, because like bus drivers, there are no EMIS coordinators out there. And actually Connect is starting a new program to start training people to be EMIS coordinators to, again, create the pipeline for that position. So she said, I have someone who has been at Connect and really just wants to get back in the school district, and I think, you know, she's gonna apply for the job, and she did. So Heidi and her husband and their son live in Mentor, that's what I thought, Mentor. So she's gonna drive from Mentor into work and work with us, but I am ecstatic. I think she's gonna bring an opportunity for us to look at some of the way we've been doing some things, and she's so knowledgeable when we start talking about like CTE programming and getting additional funding. I can go to her and say, like, what are we not doing that might get us some additional finance, some additional money attached to it, or what can we do in a different way? So I'm really looking forward to working with her, and so that's Heidi. Heidi, did you want to say anything?
I'm honored, so we're good. I'm very excited to come back into a school district, and kind of the way I explain it is get my hands dirty on the data again, but I get to see it from this really high level and sort of be able to get back in and do that. And I've lived in great board meetings, so just even tonight, right, like just to be able to be a part of the district again means a lot to me. So I do appreciate this opportunity. Of course,
Heidi, can I ask, what years were you at Brooklyn? Because I've been looking at you all night, and I was like, I think she's familiar, and I'm a speech therapist there for a while, so were you there like?
I see the data.
Yep,
I did not
yep.
have that connection till just
Oh,
now.
cool, cool,
Okay.
cool. Well, it's good to see you again.
So you'll see there's 3 contracts on there. There is, our contract, the way it works is a little different. She'll be done in June with Connect at the end of June. So our contracts go August to August, August till the end of July. So you'll see a contract for her for just the month of July. And then you'll see her regular contract starting August 1st. And then she also has a 3rd contract that is just for up to 10 days, paid at her per diem to do transition with Bonnie when Bonnie leaves. Bonnie technically, after she leaves, can't come in first. She can't come back for 2 months or have any, she can't be like, she technically isn't supposed to be doing anything school related. That could jeopardize her retirement. So the goal is to have Heidi and Bonnie work in June to do some of those transition days. And then if needed, once the school year starts, we can always, I think, talk Bonnie into coming in and helping as needed if there's something that she needs some help with. But I have a feeling that she'll be fine. So those are the 3 contracts you're approving. So I'm excited.
And trust me, she is excited because I had a long talk with her about, she's like, I have to get her. I have to get her. And she's like, and I said, well, I hope you do, you know, and you don't realize as even, you know, we're knee deep into being board members, obviously, but just how important that EMIS coordinator is. And you just, Lynn, I don't know if you recall when we interviewed Steve Marlowe way back when, that was his first question to us, is who is your EMIS coordinator? Like,
We had gone through some real debacles, and I hope you look too young to know how bad Independence used to be with EMIS.
But yeah, it is a very, very important position. So thank you for saying yes, and welcome aboard.
Officially,
If you want to run out, you can.
Yes,
now you can go. I mean, no,
Thank you
actually
for-
can't go because you're
thank-
meeting with
You
Jen.
can't
So I'm going to go through really quick because we're almost there to the end. Revised school calendar, it is the same calendar except for it's 1 day earlier. I forgot to count the Wednesday before Thanksgiving is a work day, my fault. They do evening conferences, which then gives them Wednesday off. I did not count that day, so you'll see the student's day is a day earlier and the staff's day is a day earlier. That's it. As soon as you approve it, we'll put it back up on the website and no one will be any the wiser. Since it wasn't like a day in the middle. The MOU between Independence and Kent State, we get MOUs for our kids who attend CCP courses. You don't need to have an MOU, but it's nice. I usually do it. You'll see one coming on for LCCC and Tri-C, but this is the one for Kent State. The proposal for facilities, the assessments and the master planning services, I hope we're a go with that. We're going into executive session to talk about signing this contract and doing some things. with him, so we could talk a little bit more about it, but that's the proposal from AEG for that. And then any questions on personnel? I think that's just Heidi's for the exempt, certified, those are pretty self-explanatory. For classified and certified, and then supplemental contracts. You will notice on number 10, that is Matt Burns, our new head coach for the football team. So he is working on getting his assistant coaches. Some will be coaches that were already here. He's bringing in some new people as well, which is great. I think it's always good when you're getting there to have some people that you know can do a good job and bringing in some others to kind of help you out. So I'm excited about that. So you will be approving his head coaching position, and then you'll be seeing the assistant coaches probably next month. Any questions? I talked really fast. Sorry. All right.
Okay, now we're going into the approval of consent agenda, so we'll have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So,
Approve consent agenda, items F1 through H11 as presented, including any amendments presented.
so
Second.
Call vote, please.
Yes. Mr. Avila?
yes.
Mr. Bernstein?
Yes.
Mrs. Lasky?
Yes.
Mrs. Sears?
Yes.
Mrs. Hill?
Yes. New business, policy board first reading with no action.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna talk about, we met with our Neola rep, who basically came in and said, you have about 8 policies that, I'm not sure why you don't have them, but they're laws, and you need to have them on your books. One of them is the sunshine law. So you will see, there's about 8 of those are required by law, and a couple of them were choice, but we didn't have them, and we were like, they were highly recommended. So they're on here. What I would propose is, instead of trying to go, because we added these last minute, so I don't want you to feel like, these are 2 read policies, so before our next February meeting, when you'll vote on them, if you want to, during our work session next time, if you have any policies that you would want further updates on or clarification, just let Jen or I know, and then we can speak to them during our work session. I don't want to throw them on you right now and have you read through them to ask us questions. So that's that. Upcoming events, sorry. President's Day, Monday, February 17th, and then our board meeting dates, the 4th for a work session, and then the 18th will be our regular. That will be the one you'll dress up. Charlene and Greg were supposed to be here tonight, but Greg was ill, so they couldn't do the pictures, so we'll do them on the 18th.
Any board members want to share any information?
Yes, as you know, I usually like to highlight a recent grad. And I know I highlighted her before, but Kana Wisniewski, class of 19. She is now teaching 3rd grade in Taiwan. So she sent me a nice letter over the holiday, and I still have to send her one back, but.
Is she in Taiwan just to teach, or was she from there?
She's just to teach.
Oh.
Yeah. She has a background of being Korean.
Yeah, okay.
So.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, her brother just graduated last year.
I do want to say, Dave DiCarlo passed away on January 1st, beloved teacher and coach of Independence. Just want to condolences to his family. He was such a, he was here when I was here, several of us, such an amazing man and mentor to our kids, and so I just want to share condolences to his family and pass that on.
We'll be entering into executive session after this to consider employment. There will be no further action as we come out of executive session. So, motion to that, please.
So,
Second.
Call roll, please.
Mr. Avila?
Yes.
Mr. Bernstein?
Yes.
Mrs. Lasky?
Yes.
Mrs. Sears? Yes. Mrs. Hill?
Yes.